Hello, good morning. Welcome to the cloud computing class session 15. So in today's session we are going to discuss about storage and database and also other remaining topics of cloud computing of first unit. So storage and database. Storage and database is very important part of any software. So there must be the storage. If there is a storage, then we can store any type of data in that. Okay, whichever device you take, whether it is a laptop, system, or the mobile. So you need the storage in that. Otherwise, if you cannot store anything in those devices, then there is no use of those devices. So you're going to take the storage and database from the cloud computing, that is from the cloud providers. So you're going to take the services of storage and databases from the cloud providers. So let us see what services you can take related to the storage and advantages and disadvantages of those. So we have applications running in our laptops, servers, phones, etc. So there are a lot of applications which we run on our devices, phones, and we need the storage to store all these things. So to store all these applications, we need the storage. So cloud computing brings you applications, a way of viewing, manipulating and sharing data. So you can modify the data, you can view the data and you can also share the data. So the most common are storage and database. So all these data we store in the databases. So databases are sources for information with links within the information that help make the data searchable. So so all your information will be stored in the database, and whenever you need those data will be retrieved from the database, storing and retrieving from the database. So there are distributed databases like Amazon Simple Database, spread information among physically dispersed hardware, but to the client the information seems to be located in one place. So the cloud providers are providing their database services like Amazon Simple Database, where the users are accessing for the database services, where they are storing all their data in the databases, or they are also taking the softwares of databases from cloud providers. So they seem that okay, if they're storing their data on the cloud provider's server, then they feel that the server is located at one place, but actually the server is located at many places, like distributed server, distributed databases you can say. Okay, you can find out databases in multiple locations. So cloud providers are providing their database services through online. So cloud providers are providing their database services through online. So the users can access these database services if they want to store their data, as well as if they want applications or any resources, they can also take it from the cloud providers. So advantages of such database include the following. So when you are using the storage of the cloud providers, what can be the advantages? First one is improved availability. Improved availability means databases are available all the time and you cannot say that the database is full or database is not working or database is crashed. So such problem will not arise. If there is a fault in one database system, it will only affect one part of the database. It is not going to affect the entire database. So that's why there is a improved availability of the databases. Next is improved performance. So data is located near the site. That means with the greatest demand and the database systems are parallelized, means those are linked to one another, means you can find out the databases on many servers. So if the load arises in one of the server, then the load can be moved to another server. So like this way, it keeps the load of balance among the servers, so that it will not affect the performance when the users are accessing the cloud provider services, because the balance will be shared, that means the load balance will be shared among multiple servers. Next is price. It is a less expensive to create a network of smaller computers. That means when you consider the price, it is less expensive when you compare it with the legal softwares or the license softwares. Flexibility. So systems can be changed and modified without harm to the entire database. So whichever part you want to change, you can also change it without affecting the entire database. Disadvantages. So there can be also the disadvantages when you are taking the database services online. First one is complexity. So database administrator have extra work to do the maintenance of the system. So this is very complex task. So whoever is maintaining it have to be very careful in administering all the databases. They have to work little extra to maintain it properly. Next is labor cost. So with that added complexity comes the need for more workers on the payroll. Okay, so to maintain these all things, you need more number of workers to look after this, so that it increases the labor cost. Security, as many users are accessing these database services and they are storing their data on this database, so security is very important. But sometimes database divides must be secured, and so must the sites hosting the fragments. So sometimes the security issues arises, and hosting and all of these all things should be taken care. Integrity. So it may be difficult to maintain the integrity of the database. Integrity means to keep all the parts together, and it is complex, and changes whichever is made to that services, database services, has to be reflected. So sometimes the problem can arise in integrity. The next is standards. So currently there are no any standards to convert a centralized database into a cloud solution. So these can be the problems of database services. The idea behind database service is to avoid the complexity and cost of running your own database. So what benefit it offers? Simplicity of use. Simplicity of use means you don't need to worry about the buying the software, installing it, and maintaining that the hardware part of the database. And also it has to be secure. So this all you don't need to worry, and there are no servers to provision and no redundant system also. Next is power. So some power can be given to the users, means they are allowed to use the databases, means some customized control is given to the users. That means they can validate the data, and they can create, manage some part of the database whichever they need. Next is integration. So your database can be integrated with some other applications or any other services you need. So you can tie it with calendars, email, or any other applications. So integration is also done properly. Your database can be linked with any other application services. Next is management. So as we discussed, the management of this database services has to be managed properly. So it can be located in multiple places. So physical server can be at one place, and all other servers can be on multiple locations. The physical server is in Bangalore, and you are accessing it from Mumbai, and whoever is managing it, he is in some other location like Goa and all. So people are working here from multiple locations. They are managing their database services through the cloud services from multiple locations. So some of the databases services which they make online available through the cloud providers are MS SQL. So the MS SQL is a very famous database which is used by many people, and it is also very secure to use it. All queries, all creation of table, inserting data will be managed very properly. So most of the users use this MS SQL. So there are many versions in this MS SQL. So they announced the cloud extension of that tool in the spring of 2008 by introducing Microsoft SQL Server Data Services. So they started providing it on the cloud since from the 2008 onwards. and it looks very similar to Amazon's Simple Database. So Microsoft SQL Server is very similar to Amazon's Simple Database, and they provide the free data storage, and if you need some extra storage you need to pay for that. So yeah, it is able to start small and scale larger as needed. As you can start with some small database service and later you can scale up it. So it integrates with Microsoft Sync Frame. So this can be also integrated, MS SQL can be also integrated with other applications like Microsoft Sync Framework, and which is a .NET library for synchronizing dissimilar data sources. So synchronizing data on multiple devices so they can be accessed offline. So there are three concepts in this Microsoft SQL data servers: authority, container, and entity. So these database services, that means database softwares, are divided into three types, three core concepts. Authority, that means authority is both a billing unit and a collection of containers. How the billing is done for these database services, for these database softwares. Container is a collection of entities and what you search within. So database, if you are using database, means that entities, everything will be in a form of entities. So an entity is a name and value pairs. Another type of software, database software, is Oracle, which is also very famous. So Oracle is, in the fall of 2008, Oracle introduced three services to provide database services to cloud users. So customers can license. So even the Oracle has come into the cloud computing concept since from 2008 onwards, and they tied up with cloud providers, or they have their own cloud providing services like Oracle Database 11g, Oracle Fusion Middleware, and Oracle Enterprise Manager. So in these three types, they provide their database services to their customers. It can be the cloud providers or any other general public. So developers can take advantage of automated software deployment here. Okay, like say Oracle Application Express, Oracle JDeveloper, and so on. So all types of their software applications, software database application, they have published, they have made available to the users through the cloud providers. Another is Oracle Secure Backup Cloud Module. Also enables encrypted data backups to help in the cloud environment. See, so for security of the data, so Oracle Secure Backup, they have made available in this cloud module. It's fully integrated with Oracle Recovery Manager. They have one more module, Oracle Recovery Manager and Oracle Enterprise Manager, providing users with familiar interfaces for cloud-based backups. So the Oracle is providing all their services through the cloud for the users. Now next we'll see when we can use cloud computing. So we already discussed what are the benefits of cloud computing, and now almost all organizations, businesses, companies are using the concept of cloud computing, and many users are taking the services from the cloud. And now due to this COVID situation, now everything has gone on the cloud and everyone are accessing online services. So, and also sometimes cloud computing is also not a good match, means there are also some situations where the cloud computing is not a good choice. So there may be times when the need you have is a perfect match for cloud computing, but there may be also times when cloud computing is simply not a good match for your needs. So first we'll discuss how when we can use cloud computing, and later on we'll discuss when not to use cloud computing. So there are three different major implementations of cloud computing. So this cloud computing concept is divided into three major concepts: cloud compute cloud, cloud storage, and cloud applications. So in a detail about these we are going to study in the later topics. So for time being, you understand that compute cloud is nothing but it allows the access to resources provided by the cloud providers for specifically for developing the applications. So they provide all environment, all resources to the developers for developing their applications. Cloud storage, examples of these compute clouds are like Amazon EC2 comes under this, and Google App Engine. They provide this compute cloud. Next is cloud storage. Cloud storage allows to store the data by using cloud providers equipment. So cloud providers are providing all the equipments for storage to the users. So security can be also issue here in this, like Amazon S3. They provide the storage for the users. Cloud applications. So cloud applications are delivered to users through browsers like Microsoft Online Services. So there are applications of specific organizations, and they are providing these applications of their organizations to the users. See, you can see here BitTorrent and Skype, or any other applications like MySpace or YouTube. Okay, all these applications they are providing through the cloud. So these cloud applications eliminate the need to install and run the application on the customer's computer. So no burden of software maintenance in this. So now we'll learn when you should not use cloud computing. So there is also sometimes that cloud computing is not a good match. So like for example, see first one, minding the details. So it is good to consumers to access their healthcare data online, but data leakage or breach to let sensitive data loose. So sensitivity of private data can be accessed by government as there is laws and policies for government. So sometimes the data leakage, security issues can arise when you are uploading your data or when you are storing your data, sensitive data. Okay, if there is no proper security, if there is a data leakage, because cloud providers, cloud services are used by many people. Okay, so if they get access to your data, then it can be also misused. And also see, these are available on cloud, so even the government can access your data. So according to the rules, there are some laws and policies of governments, you need to follow that. For example, see health insurance and accounting. So that sensitive healthcare information should not use on cloud. So health information of any patient or any user which is very sensitive, it can lead to the security or the data leakage. Next is geopolitical concerns or affairs. So it is illegal to post your information on a cloud if you are in Canada and you want to post your data on an American cloud. So geopolitical concerns or affairs means when you are using the cloud of one country, and that means you are staying in one country and you are using the cloud of another country, then some issues may arise here. Okay, so some of the countries don't allow their services to be used by some other countries. So there can be some legal issues and here. So the Canadian government has declared that government IT workers may not use network services that are operating within US borders. See, Canadian government has declared that which are operating within US borders should not be allowed to use the network services. So countries issues can arise in these geopolitical concerns. So in such cases, you cannot use the cloud computing concept. Next is hardware dependencies. So if you have an application that requires specific hardware, chips or drivers, a cloud solution might not be a good fit for you. Now suppose when you are creating any application, when you are developing any application, so whatever the hardware, chips or drivers are needed, so these all maybe not available on one environment. So in this case, the cloud solution may not be a good match for it, for developing for developing such type of applications. So in the diagram you can see the application has specific hardware needs, so it's best to keep it in house. So when you're developing any application and it has some specific hardware needs, so it's developed to keep it in your own premises, own organization, instead of taking the services from the cloud. The application's hardware needs could not be served by the provider. So all these resources may be not available on the cloud providers on one environment. So this problem can arise. So in such case, the cloud computing may be not a good solution. Next is server control. So if your application demands complete control over everything that is running, a cloud solution may not be right for you. See, in a cloud computing, when you are accessing the cloud services, some limited accessibility, some limited control is given to the user. Okay, they cannot control whatever they want to run on the cloud. They cannot control everything because limited accessibility, limited control is given to the users. So if you need detailed control over the amount of memory, okay, whatever you have used from the cloud computing, if you want the detail, then like amount of memory, CPU, hardware specification or interfaces, then the cloud is not a suitable match for your application. So these all details you may get or you may not get because you don't have full control over the cloud. So after all these are all things managed by the cloud providers, service providers. Next is integration with existing applications. See, some of the applications whichever you are developing, okay, you need to integrate it with some other application, like you are using one database application, you are using one database and you want to link it with some application. So that facility must be there on that. If there is no integration facility, then cloud solution may be not a good choice for that, for such type of applications. The fact of the matter is that if you have two applications that need to be integrated, it is best for one not to be located on site and second on the cloud. That is, on site one is on your system and one application is on the cloud. Then these two applications cannot be integrated because these are two are available on different platforms. One is on the cloud and one is on your own premises. So it creates problems with security, speed and reliability. For example, if I have two databases, one with sensitive data housed locally and one with non-sensitive data on the cloud. Same, which I told you, one is on your premises locally and one is on the cloud. So the chances that the sensitive data finds its way to the cloud are very good. Security, speed and reliability, this all you have to observe that. Next is throughput demands. Since cloud computing is generally built in a utility format, you pay for what you use. So whatever you are using from the cloud, for everything will be billed, and what you are using, you are going to pay for that. If you deploy applications that use a lot of throughput and cost starts to rise. For example, if you're streaming high definition video over 100 sources, your costs are going to spike sharply. So that means it is based on the throughput. So based on the throughput, the cost increases. Okay, if you are streaming some video, okay, and which is taking a lot of throughput, then the cost increases, goes on increases. So it is best to sort the things, take into account what the server power and all other hardware will cost. So you need to take account this all. Okay, so what are the server power and whatever the resource you are using, what it will cost. So the more throughput, the more you have to pay. So how much more throughput you are using from the cloud services, that much more you have to pay. So we have seen that cloud computing is best in some of the solutions, and we also seen that cloud computing is not best in some of the matters. So we have finished this session. In the next session, we'll see some new topic. Thank you.